up to 74 they are numbered. After 74 they are unnumbered. So anyway, 74 gives you an idea of how long that presentation was. So we learned a good bit about Gujarat's economy, from demography to social indicators to economic indicators, and then a lot of emphasis on the finance side of it. Generally, our own assessment of Gujarat even before we came here was very positive. We also had a presentation from the Office of the Accountant General of Gujarat before we came, and their own assessment of Gujarat was also very positive. Financially, Gujarat has been very stable, very conservatively run, and so therefore its equity ratio is generally much lower than most other states. It has also kept its deficits well within the FRBM states FRBM limits. So all this. The Commission's job, for those who may not be familiar with what it does, is that the Finance Commission or a Finance Commission is appointed every 5 years, and its task is to make recommendations to the Government of India. It is a constitutional commission and appointed by the President of India, and its task is to make recommendations to this government regarding the division of tax revenues, first between the center and the states. This is for vertical devolution, and then how the resources or tax resources allocated to the states should be divided among the 28 states. That is the main kind of task of the Commission, although it also makes recommendations on local urban body grants and local rural body grants. It also makes recommendations on disaster relief, and finally it makes recommendations on some sectoral and state level grants. So that is the mandate of the Finance Commission, and within that, therefore, after following the full presentation on Gujarat's demography, social sectors, economic sectors, financial sector, the state government gave us their recommendations on what they expect the Commission to do. So they said, currently of all the tax revenues, 41% are devolved under the 15th Finance Commission, that is, about 41% are devolved to the states and remaining 59% to the central government. So Gujarat's plea was that this percentage of the states should be increased from 41% to 50%. This is a figure which has repeatedly come during our state visits. Gujarat is the 9th state we are visiting. Before that, we visited 8 states, and perhaps other than one state maybe, every state has made that recommendation that it be raised. This is a common occurrence. In the previous 15th Finance Commission was also given that recommendation by a large majority of the states. On the horizontal division of the resources of the tax resources, Gujarat made somewhat different recommendation than what is the current practice, and I will tell you how the Gujarat's recommendations come along. So overall, Gujarat has divided the criteria on which the share of the states ought to be divided among the 28 states into 3 categories. One is need and cost, disability based. Second set of criteria is equity based, and third set of criteria is performance based. For needs and cost disability, they said 35% should be 35% of the total tax revenue should be divided among the states on that basis, on the basis of needs and cost disability. Second, on the basis of equity, 40% of the tax revenue should be divided on that basis. And performance-based 25%. So that adds up 35, 40, and 35 is 100. Then they gave some more detailed suggestions. So within need and cost disability, they suggested three criteria: population, urbanization, and area. Now, population and area have been used for several commissions that have preceded us. Urbanization is a new suggestion by the Gujarat government. Then on equity, income distance has been generally the basis, which basically measures how poor you are relative to the richer states. Generally, that distance is measured in the richest state, richest large state. So, Gujarat government has said that there should be one more criterion within this category on equity, which is the multidimensional poverty. So this would be a new criterion if one were to use that. So that's equity. And then on performance, Gujarat government has given four more criteria: fiscal discipline, demographic performance, economic contribution to the national GDP, and sustainability in terms of renewable sources of energy, micro irrigation, and forest water and forest cover. So that was the main kind of ask by the Gujarat government. And then there were some recommendations by them also for the local body grants. There was some suggestion that a little more be given to urban local bodies than rural local bodies. So they made a plea for some rejigging of the division of local body resources between rural and urban bodies. And on disaster relief, there were some suggestions on disaster relief different as well, and particularly with respect to a disaster relief index that the 15th Finance Commission had used for some reason there. So that's the rough overall picture of what the Gujarat government has recommended. We then in turn, the members and I, together asked a number of clarifying questions, to which we will in due course receive replies from the state. That's where the matter stands.
So what is the Commission's broad idea, broad thinking about increasing this disbursement from 41 to 50%? The broad idea for the Commission, your view on that increase.
Yes, I did.
Sir, I am Manish from Gujarat Meter.
Yeah, so it's a little bit early for us because this is the 9th state out of 28. So we are going to continue further consultation. As per the current calendar, we would have finished visiting all the states at the end of May. So there's still a while to go. This is a tough question, a difficult question with which the Commission needs to grapple because in the end there is an issue of balancing of the central and state budgets. At the end of the day, whichever way you move the division between the vertical division, you are going to impact the budgets of somebody. Either if you raise that 41 to let's say 50% in the ask, let's say 43, 44, 45%, that of course comes from the center's budget. And there is always response by the central end, and that response often takes the form of even more cesses and surcharges as the sources of revenue rather than the regular taxation. Now what happens is the cesses and surcharges go 100% to the center directly, it doesn't go into the reusable pool. So there is this problem, when you try to shift in a big way the devolution in favor of the states. This is what the 14th Finance Commission had done. It had raised the share of the states in the divisible pool from 32 to 42%. So that led the central government to really shift a lot of the taxation towards cesses and surcharges. So this is a difficult issue, and one is to look at, you know, how the state, how the center will respond if one were to change that in a dramatic situation.